My favorite feeling when starting a book is waiting forever for it to come out, and by forever I mean like a year, and then literally forgetting what happened in the previous book and where it ended. I remember the book before it, but I don't remember where the last one ended. Anyways, we are going to be reading Accomplice to the Villain together. I like to read my physical books with y'all because the books on my Kindle app are a little harder for me to read with you because I film on my phone and my Kindle app is on my phone. Anyways, this is the third book in this series. The first book is called Assistant to the Villain, and then you have Apprentice to the Villain, and now you have Accomplice to the Villain. Anyways, if you haven't read the first two, I will probably be spoiling as I go just because I like to share my surprise with all of y'all, and I'll also kind of give a little recap of my thoughts at the end. So yeah, we're gonna crack this book open together and get started. Today is currently August 5th, I believe, and it's 10 o'clock at night. And I am hoping to get done with this in less than 4 days, but I'm also reading a book on my phone currently on my Kindle app that I'd also like to get done in 4 days because I am behind on my reading plan by like quite a few weeks. So we're gonna crack out these books together. It's also been a while since I've made any long form content, so I apologize for the break, but I really wanted to make something that I was very confident in making and had the time to sit down and do, so we shall read together. I'm going to put on a video, some music, something like that on my TV and get comfy cozy, and we'll get to reading. Okay, this lighting is a little better, but since it is 10 o'clock at night, I am starting to do my little wind down session, which includes, I've already showered. I'm gonna turn off all the lights, get in bed, put something on, and hopefully let my mind relax. So the beginning of this book will be not as eventful, but I'm gonna try to pick up with y'all where I left off and see how this goes. Technically, you know what, that works. Okay, so the book opens up, it actually shows us a map, and I think we've been having maps before, but they didn't have all of these illustrations on them. I'm gonna try to keep this in mind when I go through the book, but these are usually just like cute little things. Okay, prologue is back at Evie's first month of working, so Evie's first month working for the villain had been rather unconventional, though at least not cataclysmically shocking. That's a big word for this late at night. A spilled cauldron brew, coffee, here a poisoned intern there, but there had been a few strange incidents, the most recent being her summoned into work 2 hours early for a meeting she was almost certain could have been a short message sent through the Maehrers. Find better things to complain about, Evie, like the hand you found in the reused bin last week. This also does open up with Once Upon a Time before I started reading. Although that had at least given her the opportunity to ask the boss if he had needed an extra set of hands. That's hilarious. It was mildly disconcerting that he was more offended by her harmless jokes than the foreign limb he logged in with a discarded parchment. Becky hated that when they mixed anything with parchment recycling, but she digressed. On that we agreed. I should still be in bed, curled up with my favorite nighttime companion. She thought she heard him joke. Companion? There was an odd sound of warning in the word that made her shiver just slightly. Yes, she crossed her arms. His name is Mr. Muffins. Mr. Muffins. She could see his shadow inching closer to the light, his voice gruff and lisped with confusion. You're laying with a man called Mr. Muffins. Who in the Deadlands is named something so ridiculous? She bit her lip to keep from smiling at his obvious outrage. A teddy bear I've had since I was 6. There was just a short silence before a flat word broke out. Oh. Okay, update. The prologue was cute, but it literally meant nothing other than like just showing how cute the main character and the villain are. Chapter 1, however, is in the perspective of Kingsley, aka the frog. That's up here. And chapter 2 is the villain. So, I hope I remember where this leaves off, because I currently have no clue. But we shall get there. Okay, I remember a little bit about what happened in the last book. It didn't end, if I remember correctly, it didn't end as dramatically as the first one did. The, what do they call it? The, like, fortress, the place that he works, he lives, anyways, this big castle is now visible to the world. It used to have, like, an invisibility cloak over it. That is now no longer present, and the King's Guard knows their location. It says that the only thing, like, protecting them from the King's Guard is like vines, like a wall of vines. Anyways, Evie is also seen as a threat. Her face is on wanted posters everywhere, so they're both kind of in danger. But the most prevalent thing is that the villain is purposely staying away from Evie right now. Evie thinks it's due to the fact that his magic malfunctions when they're around. It's more like he gets, if I remember correctly, it is kind of uncertain as to why it happens. It's like he like lowers his guard or something. I don't know. But they were also visited by a destiny monster that told them that Evie's sage is meant to be your downfall, you being the villain, and you her undoing. And it's one of those that, like, you know, it's meant to be, like, romantic, or in my mind, it is preluding to something romantic and, like, whatever. But he's taking it as the only way to keep it from happening is to stay away from her. It's chapter 2, and he's already he's not failing at it, but he's kind of failing at it. Anyways, I'm going to read as much as I can for the rest of the night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Update on the book. I'm currently on page 2930. I figured out another piece of information that's important. At the end of the book, Evie's mom comes back, and it states here that she was a star in the sky that watched her children, and her magic has been dormant for a while. If I remember correctly, I also think Evie's brother is alive. Or was. Oh, who knows at this point. But yeah, there's been a bit of flirting between Evie and the villain, Tristan. His name is Tristan. And back to, like, the problem of his magic. I'm pretty sure it's just the fact that he likes her and his magic likes her. So his magic is doing things to try to get them together, and they're like not wanting it. Anyways, so He's literally right at the bottom of this page. His name is Gideon. Her older brother's name is Gideon. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. Okay, end of chapter 7. The King Benedict, literally came knocking at the door of the castle with catapults of rocks. Quite interesting, and basically all he wanted to do was talk about Renadon, which is the country, the land that they live in. Renadon's prophecy, which is what they're kind of trying to figure out, but he's going to tell them the prophecy in exchange for Evie's mom. Now, the next chapter, chapter 8, opens with, "My mother is dead," Evie called out to the king solemn. "Hadn't you heard?" Which is funny, because we know she's not dead, but she's supposedly dead. I'm gonna keep reading. Okay, let's talk about what's happened in the book since the last time I had a chance to talk to y'all. I'm now at chapter 18. We've gotten a little bit into the book right now. They're trying to find the last piece of this prophecy that they're trying to fulfill, and whoever fulfills the prophecy gets the magic or power or something like that. I kind of half remember it, but they're also the villain's palace is no longer, or villain's manor is no longer protected, so they're trying to find that. They've had an intruder who actually came and threatened Evie's life, and so the intruder was trying to get a piece of this stained glass window. They learned from an attack that the king came and attacked them via catapult. That's what I was trying to think. And in the process broke a window. That window was a stained glass window, but one side of the stained glass actually had words inscribed in it, and apparently it has the legend of the land written on it, the thing that they've been trying to find in the king's palace the entire time, to figure out what they actually need to do to restore the magic of the land. That's their whole goal right now. Anyways, intruder attacked Evie because they were trying to get a piece of the stained glass, pretended to be the construction worker for the stained glass window, was not that person. Evie got injured in the process. The villain has the intruder now in custody. And yeah, I think that's about it. Oh yeah, Kingsley the frog. Where is he? The little frog. He's slowly losing his human qualities. He basically he's becoming more and more like a frog every day, but he hasn't told anyone, or no one's figured it out. He can't really say anything word-wise, and he only writes a word at a time. Anyways, so right now the villain and Tristan and Evie are about to torture. They're about to torture the intruder to find some answers, and that's where I'm at. Let's get back to reading. Okay, I am a good way through the book. I'd probably say about halfway. I'm currently on chapter 46, so it's been a while since I've talked to you. The chapters in this book are very short, so it's not really been that long, but anyways, I believe since I've last spoken to you, they were going to torture the guy. They didn't really get any information from that other than what they kind of already knew, which is that it was an outsider. So Becky, the girl who is the HR lady, asked her brother to come help refortify the thorn whatever that was supposed to be keeping people out. He ended up coming and seeing that there was a gap in it, or a secret entrance that someone had pillaged through. So they started using this colored pixie dust kind of stuff. That way, if anyone who didn't have proper access, which the villain will be the only one that has proper access, if anyone who doesn't have proper access uses any sort of entrance or touches the vine in any way, their hands will be marked in red, so they'll be caught red-handed. But yeah, other than that, they have been working to cure Kingsley's curse, because they found out that Kingsley saving his true love is the last step of the what's the word? I'm saying a lot. I'm sorry. Kingsley saving his true love is the last step of the prophecy that needs to be fulfilled in order to gain magic. Anyways, they did end up putting the windows back together and reading the whole thing, so that is in here as well. Oh, I guess that was a while ago. Every chapter they've been switching back and forth between multiple POVs. It's not just Evie, the main character, or the villain's POV. There's also Blade, who's the dragon handler, Becky's perspective, Kingsley's perspective. It does Tatiana, who's the healer, Claire, who's the villain's sister. Oh, and Gideon, who is Evie's brother. So they've been tossing back and forth between perspectives, which has been really interesting and has really kept the flow of the plot going, even though I really feel I'm halfway through and nothing much has happened, but there's so many different side stories happening at the same time that you're getting a nice cohesive picture, which I'm really enjoying. At this point in the book, in order to save Kingsley's curse, they talk to someone who's, I don't remember his name, but he's really well known in curses, and they had learned not only more about Kingsley's curse and the fact that the enchantress who put it on him has to be the one to undo it, but also that the villain is actually cursed and was cursed before his magic appeared, or his magic developed. Basically, it's a part of puberty for them. Is it develops when you're 13 or 14. Anyways, he was cursed before he found out that he had what his magic was. So I'm interested to see how that comes undone. And anyways, I tried to while I was reading a certain scene, I tried to kind of record my reaction. I don't know if it actually got in this video because my phone died in the process and I didn't really realize that, but the villain and Evie shared a kiss. She told him she loves him. He completely freaked out in the moment and shut down and convinced himself in a split second that he was gonna ruin everything. So he definitely has some issues that stem from his mother telling him those things. Anyways, so they're currently trying to find a magic wand, which then can let them into the Southern Isle, or the Southern Territory. That is where the enchantress is being held prisoner for killing Kingsley. And yeah, anyways, so that is what they are currently in the process of doing. Right now, though, Kingsley is actually lost within this tree house that is home to a lord that they're like visiting and they're having dinner with. Anyways, so in order to find Kingsley easier, Evie had proposed a plot or a game, quote unquote, to find him, and whoever does will get a night alone with her. We'll get a night alone with her, basically. And so now we are getting, this is an Evie's perspective, but we are getting the aftermath of after this being announced as the award, and everyone, like literally everyone, scatters the room and leaves and tries to find Kingsley, except for the villain who's standing there staring at her. So I'm reading this, that is where I am currently in the book, and so I'm gonna keep reading. I really have been loving the banter, and I'm not a slow burn person, but this doesn't really feel like a slow burn in the way that I've normally read, because it's just so funny. I guess that's the only way that like this would have been going on for so long. It's just how like utterly ridiculous this is, basically. Anyways, so I'm gonna keep reading it and I will update you if something really interesting happens, because I'm enthralled at the moment. As suspected, Tristan won a night with Evie, and of course it's one of those, you know, one bed situations. So he's resisting it. He's literally sitting in a chair by the fire, facing away from the bathtub, and doing his best to, you know, compose himself. But he did actually admit to her that he is showing restraint out of courtesy to her, not because he doesn't want her, if that makes any sense. So we're getting somewhere. There's the slightest bit of progress in this relationship. Alrighty, I'm about to head into work, but I ended up finishing my book last night, and my goodness, there was a lot to go through. So much has happened since the last time I saw you. They had to go visit Tristan's mother. She's an absolutely terrible human being. Was saying all these things about Tristan in the process, like Tristan blurted out the fact that he loved Evie and then like ran out of the room, and then Evie followed him, and yeah, now they're together. So that's great. They want to try to get Kingsley's curse reversed, and the king and queen didn't want to hear anything. Tristan's father ended up dying in the process. The enchantress died in the process, but they met the enchantress's daughter while this was happening, flew all the way back to the manor that was overtaken by the king, but then was also retrieved by the malevolent guard. The king ended up killing Evie's mom. Like, so much happened. When I tell you so much happened, I can't even tell you whatever. The like traitor ended up being Marv, the front guard, but he was not the one that wrote all the letters, I think, because Kingsley ended up actually becoming a human again. The enchantress's daughter like was able to reverse it, but they didn't think so, so he the frog hopped away into the forest, and the book ends with him being a man walking back, not really being able to talk yet, but tossing a letter in, I think, Claire's lap that was "It's me," in the handwriting that they've been trying to place this entire time. So I'm confused how this is gonna keep going. There's still so much to happen. The book doesn't come out for another year, and I am distraught, but my goodness, did I want to scream and cry and kick my feet. Anyways, I gave this book a 5 stars, obviously. I loved reading this. I really hope I would have picked up my phone more in this process and given you my raw reaction to things, but I was trying to put down my phone so I could read the book. Anyways, I will be continuing making reading vlogs. Let me know what book you want me to read next. I have so many books on my list that I want to read, whether it be on my Kindle, on Kindle Unlimited, or physical books, or new books coming out. Anyways, thank y'all for coming along on this journey with me. I have to get into work, and I just wanted to share that with y'all. I hope y'all have a good rest of your day. Read as many books as you can, especially this one, and I'll see you in the next
I'll see you in the next video. Bye, lovelies.